Captain Zarath clicked her mandibles in frustration as she reviewed the latest casualty reports. The human coalition war had been raging for 3 standard cycles now, and the galaxy trembled under its weight. What had started as a simple diplomatic incident had escalated into the bloodiest conflict the Galactic Federation had ever witnessed. The Velthari commander's crystalline exoskeleton reflected the harsh blue light of her command center as she pondered how it all began. A single human child, lost during a cultural exchange on Proxima Station. The humans had called it their cub, such a primitive term for offspring. The station authorities had followed standard protocol. Quarantined the unknown biological entity, pending proper classification and disposal. They had no way of knowing that humans possessed something the galaxy had forgotten millennia ago. The door to her chamber hissed open, admitting Fleet Admiral Korthva, his reptilian features tense with concern. "Captain, our forward scouts report another human fleet massing at the Kepler Junction. Their numbers continue to grow." Zarath's antennae twitched. How many species have they convinced to join their cause now? 17 confirmed, with more declaring neutrality and withdrawing from Federation space daily. Korthva's forked tongue flicked nervously. "The humans are different from what our intelligence predicted." Different indeed. The galaxy had expected typical primitive aggression when humanity first made contact 5 years ago. Their technology was adequate but unremarkable. Their military capabilities were standard for a recently spacefaring species. Their diplomatic approach had been refreshingly straightforward, compared to the labyrinthine negotiations most species preferred. What the Federation hadn't anticipated was humanity's capacity for something they had systematically bred out of themselves over millions of years of evolution: emotional attachment to individual offspring. The war began when the humans demanded their cub back, not through proper channels or bureaucratic procedures, but with a simple message broadcast across all Federation frequencies: "Return our child, or we come for her." The Federation Council had laughed. Actually laughed. A sound that echoed strangely through chambers that hadn't heard genuine mirth in eons. Here was a species of barely 2 billion individuals threatening a coalition of 4,000 worlds containing trillions of beings. The laughter stopped when the first human fleet arrived. They didn't come with overwhelming firepower or technological superiority. They came with something far more dangerous: absolute, unwavering determination. Every human ship, every human soldier, every human diplomat carried the same message. One child mattered more than galactic peace. The Federation's response was predictably efficient. They increased security around the quarantine facility. They deployed 3 defensive fleets. They initiated standard economic sanctions and diplomatic isolation protocols. The humans responded by doing something unprecedented. They made friends. Captain Zarath pulled up the tactical display showing the current state of the galaxy. Red zones marked human-allied space, growing larger each day. The pattern was always the same. Humans would arrive at a system, not as conquerors but as storytellers. They would share images, videos, data about their lost child. They would speak of her laughter, her curiosity, her dreams. Most species found such emotional displays primitive, even embarrassing. But some remembered fragments of something they had once possessed. The Cathara, with their hive-minded efficiency, began to question why they had eliminated individual attachment. The Zephyrians, masters of cold logic, found themselves calculating the statistical improbability of such widespread human cooperation without central command, and realized it stemmed from something beyond their understanding. The turning point came when the humans shared their archives, not their military specifications or territorial claims, but their stories. Tales of parents crossing impossible distances for their children. Accounts of entire communities mobilizing to save a single lost individual. Records of humans who had died defending others they had never met, simply because those others were young and vulnerable. The galaxy began to remember what it had forgotten. "Captain," Korthva interrupted her thoughts, "we're receiving another surrender notification. The Centauri Defense Fleet has withdrawn from Sector 7 and declared non-interference." Zarath felt something strange in her thoracic cavity, a tightening sensation she couldn't classify. "What reason did they give?" "They said," Korthva paused, consulting his datapad. "They said they remembered having children once, before genetic optimization eliminated inefficient emotional bonds. They want to try remembering what that felt like. The irony wasn't lost on either of them. The Federation had spent millennia perfecting their societies, eliminating waste, inefficiency, and the chaos of uncontrolled emotional responses. They had created a galaxy of perfect order, maximum productivity, and logical governance. They had also created a galaxy incapable of understanding why 2 billion humans would risk everything for one lost child. "Captain," her communications officer announced, "we're receiving a transmission from the human fleet." On screen, the image that appeared showed a middle-aged human female, her face lined with exhaustion but her eyes burning with undiminished resolve. Behind her stood representatives from dozens of species, all wearing identical expressions of grim determination. "Federation Command, this is Admiral Sarah Chen. We know you're listening. We know our little girl is alive on Proxima Station. And we know you can end this war with a single command. Send her home to her parents and we'll withdraw." The transmission continued, but Zareth found herself focusing on something else, the sound of laughter in the background. Genuine, joyful laughter from multiple species who had somehow remembered how to produce it. The humans had brought more than military allies to their cause. They had brought something the galaxy had surgically removed from itself, the chaotic, inefficient, wonderfully illogical power of caring about individuals more than systems. As the transmission ended, Zareth made a decision that would have been impossible for her species just cycles ago. She opened a channel to Proxima Station. "This is Captain Zareth to Station Command. Prepare the human offspring for immediate transport to the nearest human vessel. Full diplomatic honors." The war that had consumed the galaxy ended not with grand battles or negotiated treaties, but with a single human child running into her parents' arms while representatives from 1,000 worlds watched and remembered what they had lost in their pursuit of perfect efficiency. The galaxy began to laugh again and discovered it had forgotten how beautiful that sound could be.